he would take my pants from a 36 to a 34 to a 32. He'd notch them down every game, just one size. And so I remember going out there for the third preseason game, and I am running out there. He'd always squirt my crotch with a water bottle too. I'm in size 32s with water all over my crotch, but it also let me relax a little bit.
Just full helmet.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah.
What is an NFL quarterback room like?
So 2 years ago, I trained Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Kyle Allen. That was my draft class.
I think that this league is filled with opportunities, and the guys that stay in the league for a long time are the guys that take advantage of those opportunities.
I'm just a big believer in repetition.
And I'm a big routine guy, and goals never end.
I'm just a big.
And I'm a big routine guy, and goals. Once I stepped on that field today, it was good, man.
Welcome to the room. This is episode 14. We're on a little bit of a roll here. No bye weeks for the room. I'm Jordan Palmer, former NFL quarterback. I coach a bunch of guys, high school, college, and pro. And one of my best buddies and a guy that I've spent time coaching, Kyle Allen, current backup quarterback for the Houston Texans, 5-year NFL vet. We created this concept called The Room. If this is your first time tuning in, we think this is super dope. There's nothing like it. We got amazing punters and linemen and people doing amazing stuff in the space. But what we're doing is we've taken the QB room, which we think is the most important room in any building in the NFL and college football. If you got that room figured out, you got a shot. If you don't, you don't. And so we're bringing on quarterbacks. We've had some former quarterbacks. We're going to have a former NFL quarterback who's still smack dab every Thursday night in your face, guesting us as a guest this week, in Ryan Fitzpatrick, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But we've had some of the biggest names in football who are taking snaps on, and we will continue to do this to the end of the season. So welcome to the room. We're going to have a guest, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as I mentioned, and Fitzy's he's the only player. We will never do this again because we can't. The only quarterback who Kyle and I were both teammates with.
Only one ever. We were trying to think about it too. We were trying to think if there's even like a possibility of somebody that you've played with, but you played with him your second year. And was it just 1 year or was it a couple years?
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year.
He got traded to Cincy, and then he bounced and got a deal in Buffalo because my brother got hurt. He played 8 games, played well, signed a deal in Buffalo.
Had a great
deal. He was out.
Yeah. And then I played with him his last year of his career, which was a weird year because I really only spent the off season and then the first week of the season with him because he got hurt and left. But like OTAs, training camp, spent a lot of time together. Like every time I've seen him 3 Thursday games because he did 2 of our preseason games this year. And then he did our Thursday night game a couple of weeks ago. I talked to him like half an hour before every game. It's awesome to see him. Yeah. Probably one of the best personalities I've ever been in around the game. He's a guy that you be around and you have on your team, and it makes you love football again. It makes you realize why you play the game, and he plays it so purely. And he's probably got the best stories I've ever been around. And it rivals Cam Newton's stories. Cam Newton's got some great stories. Like Ryan's probably got better stories than him.
He's the best. He's the best. I'll say this. So far to date, through 13 episodes, we've gotten a couple 100,000 views. But when you add up the short form and everything, we've gotten 10 million views across all the platforms. This will be the best interview. This is the interview I'm most looking forward to. I will say that. And feel bad for whoever's on next week, but I'm fired up to talk to Fitzy. So
if you're here right now, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's important our subscribers keep going up at 5K. I'm giving away a signed jersey, maybe even a game jersey. Who knows? Jordan's got that jersey in the background right there. Is that a UTEP jersey? Maybe he'll give away.
This is the only, let me give some context. I normally shoot this in my office. I'm in my garage gym right now, which is the only place I would ever hang one of my own jerseys. And
because
it's the only jersey.
You just had your new son.
Hey, I just had baby boy number 3. Kyle Allen's number 3. I need a number 3 jersey.
Strong seed. Yeah, I'll get one for River. Shout out to young River.
Seed is strong. Targaryen blood running through me. Yeah, just had my third boy.
Lannister blood.
River John Palmer and fired up. So I'm at home and I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm getting all hopped up off Mountain Dew.
You look great. You look like you're thriving. I'm gonna be
honestly
honest.
Like you feel my energy right now.
Yeah,
I've been excited about this all day, dude. I've been like holding babies and cleaning shit up nonstop. So sending people pictures and FaceTiming with family and all that. So
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, fired up. Had another little boy, and we waited to find out. We waited to find out on all 3. If any of you are pregnant or if any of you are married and going to have kids soon, Kyle, you're going to listen to this. You're getting married soon. Wait to find out. It is one of the great surprises. There's not that many good surprises in life. There are bad ones in store for us. Inevitably, one of the true great surprises. And so, yeah, we waited to find out, and 3 boys.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
I'm going to do this a little different this week. Normally we get into a segment, throw it deep, check it down. We talk through topical stuff going on in the league, but we're pretty fired up for this interview with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We have a feeling this is probably not going to be a 20-minuter. There's a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of stories. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this interview and welcome in Ryan Fitzpatrick to the show.
Yeah, you got a little extra juice today.
Yeah.
Big number 5. Hey
guys. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Yes, finally. I have been waiting for this interview. Kyle, you've been waiting for this one too.
I asked him before we get started. I asked him week 3 or 4 if he would come on the show, and he said he put himself in media timeout because he was talking too much shit about Tom Brady early in the season. How was the timeout for you? Was media timeout good?
Yeah, I just I needed a little bit of a break, and then you wore my jersey when you walked into the Thursday night game, so I decided, that was a favor for me, just so I could get some more publicity. So now I figured I'd do your podcast.
Basically why I wore your jersey too. It was
big me guy.
Yeah, thanks.
Big me guy.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I'm fired up, man. Fitzy, thanks for coming on. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if it's a big deal either, but we've been doing this show. We've had a bunch of college and pro guys on here. We're going to continue to have it throughout the season. You are the only player that Kyle and I were both teammates with. He's played with some guys I've trained, but you are the only guy that we were both teammates with. There is not another. This is it at the quarterback position. There's a lot of reasons that I'm fired up for this.
Yeah, you were grouchy. I had to get used to you to start. I realized who you were, and I became a fan of you. But early on, I was like a little skeptical. I'm not going to lie. You were real grouchy.
So for context here, Fitz was drafted the year before I was. You were 06, right?
05.
I was 07, right? You're a year ahead of me?
2.
Okay, so 2 years ahead of me. You were in St. Louis, got traded to Cincinnati. You were the 2, I was the 3. My brother ended up getting hurt 7 or 8 games, something like that. You played a bunch, played great, and then left for Buffalo. That was my rookie year because I got cut in training camp in Washington. So that was my rookie year. I was the rookie with Kyle. I was his rookie. And like go get shit and go get like Montgomery Inn and whatever. And no, Cobblestone Cafe, the pretzel sandwich. You remember that?
Dude, so I just went back, and they're still talking about the pretzel bun sandwich, and they're still talking about the butterscotch cookies. They missed them from when we used to do that.
It's all time. All-timer. And then fast forward 31 years, and then you play with Kyle in Washington. And 11 kids later, and here we are. I'm excited, man. We got a lot of stuff to get into, and I'm pumped that you were able to join us, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I want to know when you met us both. When you met both of us, we just give us first impressions on Jordan and then first impressions on me when you met both of us.
Zero hold back here.
Be real.
Oh, no, I think I had my first impression of Jordan was probably better than what I thought of him 6 months later. No, I had to pause for effect. So Jordan, it was an interesting situation.
Go on.
No, it was just an interesting time because obviously Carson was the guy. So Jordan had come in, and it was like, wait a minute, is Jordan here because it's Carson? Is he here because he could sling it? And it was a little bit of both. But the
100%.
The times that we had in that locker room and the jokes that we played, Carson was already a huge prankster, but I think Jordan is even a bigger prankster. So just the time that we had together that year, it ended up being bad for Carson because he got hurt, which I was really nervous about Josh Allen because that's the same thing Carson did in 2008. But we had so much fun throwing competitions where I would always get last and have to dress up as stupid things. And Jordan's been a very good friend over the years. It's been cool to see the way that you've ascended with your career as Mr. Quarterback Guru. I was just talking to, I think it was Whit the other day during the lockout when you basically ran the show for the Bengals all lockout, and then you ended up getting cut like right after as a thank you for basically holding the team together for the whole offseason, which is a thankless thing. And
that was a little shady situation.
Yeah. So we were talking about that, but just that you could tell even back then, like whatever was going to happen with you as a player, you were going to, in some way, shape, or form, coach ball, whether it was at the NFL level or now what you're doing as a quarterback guru. And it's been cool to see the careers that you've affected and the way that you've done it.
Appreciate it, man.
Kyle, for you being an Arizona kid, as you get older in your career, you just learn to hate every quarterback. And I was a huge hater and continue to be a huge hater of every quarterback until I meet you. So I think I had made fun of how long your neck was without you knowing, long torso. Just some of your body proportions were a little bit different. Yeah, very long neck. It's very impressive, but it's second in your quarterback room now to Davis Mills because his is like rivals Mike Glennon's, which is crazy. Yeah. But I think more than anything, it just made fun of your body type, which, look, you've got a great torso now that I've seen you with your shirt off.
It's very, but I will say upper body's great, lower half, not great.
Yeah, I agree, especially... Yeah, the midsection, or not midsection, right below the midsection. I'll say though, we are. What kind of show is this? Is this After Dark?
This is the QB room. We're just in a room talking.
Nice, but Kyle, it was awesome getting to know you as well, and it was kind of an interesting situation. I leaned on you a lot because it was an offense that I had been in 2005, so it had been a long time. You had a bunch of experience in the offense. There was some stuff that just really didn't make sense to me. So you were always my sounding board, just asking questions and trying to keep me sane with some of the stuff that we were doing. And unfortunately, it was cut short with my injury, but we went to a Darius Rucker concert together, which was amazing. Had a lot of fun, a lot of sights to see there, a lot of hip thrusting. You're a great dancer. I learned that early.
I am a good dancer.
But yeah, I really enjoyed getting to know both of you and look forward to what the future holds with these friendships, guys.
Tell a story about you hating quarterbacks real quick. Well, actually, I'd like you to tell it, but I think all quarterbacks think this way. They don't really want to admit it, but like when you're watching another quarterback play, somewhere deep down, you just kind of want them to throw a pick, maybe get a sack fumble. You just want them to just not do great, do okay, but not too great. Tell us about when we were in training camp and it was you, me, and Steven Montez down there. Your whole family had COVID, so you were staying in the hotel. And you and me were watching our boy Ben DiNucci out there playing preseason. And I think he threw 2 or 3 picks that night. And we were just fired up. And Steven Montez was like, what are you guys doing? What's going on?
Yeah, at that point, Steven didn't get it. Steven was like 6 beers in at that point, too. Steven, we got practice tomorrow. But yeah, I will say too, my boys were pissed at me because they love DiNucci. To this day, if one of them like hits a 3-pointer and we're playing basketball, they yell, DiNucci, which I don't know where it came from, but I love a good DiNucci. Yeah, it's job security every year. So especially when you come, the guys that are the first rounders don't get it, but when you come in as a 7th rounder, as an undrafted guy, what were you, Jordan? 6th, 5th,
6th, yeah,
6th. So 6th, 7th, and undrafted, preseason is everything to us. Every year, it's everything. And so they bring these new hot shots in, and every interception, you are sitting back there, fist pumping, hugging your buddies. And so that just happened to be one of those moments when we were showing Steven Montez the ropes, but love DiNucci.
Love DiNucci. DiNucci, XFL guy now too, Jordan. He's
him and Montez are on the same team.
Oh, him and Montez are on the same team in the XFL now. That's right.
Yeah, I'm doing some coaching with the XFL. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's great, and I will make sure that both of them see this episode for sure. Yeah,
we'll get the chemistry in the room going early.
Yeah. So if you can get me a signed XFL DiNucci jersey, please.
Oh my God, your kids would go nuts, dude.
On it. In fact, I have a Ryan Fitzpatrick jersey because when you were playing in Buffalo and you played at Cincinnati, you came over to my house the night before the game or something like that. My little condo, it was Jeff Rowe's old condo. And that was the gift that you brought me, a Ryan Fitzpatrick Buffalo Bills jersey. It's awesome. It wasn't Game Worn or anything like that. It was some shitty one that you bought. But yeah, it was a gesture. It was a gesture. It was like kind of getting a mug or like a tie on Father's Day. But.
Yeah, it was similar to what Kyle wore. It was just like a off-brand Chinese-made fake jersey that probably cost $20.
No, I got yours made. I got yours made by the EQ guys. Oh, I respect you, man. I wouldn't get you from China. Come on. I know you're a good move. Thank you. Love that. Yeah. Before we end, I want to tell a quick first impression now that I'm thinking of you. So when you got there in OTAs, like you got a great deal there. Like obviously knew your name from being in the league, whatever, you play forever. And Jordan knows this, but probably most people don't know this. You really did not care about OTAs. Like, you were there, like, you were practicing, you were learning the offense, but I was like, damn, what's up with this guy? You were like 245 pounds. And then I asked you when you were leaving, I was like, you're going back to Arizona. I was like, oh, I wonder what high school he's working out at. Like, maybe I'll go and throw, or like, maybe I know guys there. I'm like, what high school are you working out at? Where are you throwing at this summer? You're like, I'm not throwing this summer. Like, I'll throw in training camp. And then you get back for training camp and you balled. I was like, oh, okay. So I just need to get to the point in my career where I can just say, fuck it until August and then be able to come out and sling it.
Yeah, that was it was probably like year 8 when I got to that point. But the seasons become so long and you put so much into it that for me, like, it was no longer about the physical. Yes, I had to like panic lose 20 pounds in like that 2 weeks before training camp started. But I could always get it wound up during training camp, those 2 weeks or whatever, get the arm loose and ready to go for the season.
Let me read off some stats for you real quick, Fitz. You're one of the 7 quarterbacks in NFL history with 34,000 passing yards and 2,600 rushing yards. That's a decent amount of rushing yards. I'm pretty impressed with that one.
I remember,
we were just talking about it.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Tampa, I was trying to eclipse 2,000 yards, and that was a thing I would talk to Dirk Cutter about, because Jameis was the starter, and then I started playing a little bit, and I was like, Dirk, I don't care what happens this year, I gotta get to 2K, because I just remember how cool like CJ 2K was when Chris Johnson did that during the season.
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year, 17. It's all good.
Details.
Yeah, but you got all those stats. Obviously, crazy long, illustrious career. We talked to a lot of guys on here, a lot of college guys and NFL guys, just about like in the league, there's perception based around who you are as a quarterback based around where you're drafted. We were just talking about it. You were a 7th round pick. Jordan was a 6th round pick. I was undrafted. You tend to not get as long of a leash the lower you get drafted. And you see that with your career. I feel like I remember seeing this picture one time, not trying to roast you here, but there was this meme where it was like Ryan Fitzpatrick is the backup. Someone gets hurt or injured, balls out, gets a deal, plays 1 year, gets cut, in like the cycle. But that kind of goes into
I've seen that,
the perception around who you are and where you were drafted. Yeah, you see it all. Yeah. Even though you don't have social media, I know you've seen it. Do you think you got a point where you got over that in your career?
No, especially towards the tail end of my career, I just embraced it because I was always brought in from 2014 on. I was brought in as a bridge guy. Like everywhere I went, I was going to keep the seat warm for a year. And so I just embraced that role and really enjoyed it. And part of that was going into a season knowing that I wasn't going to be there long term. And then that gave me some freedoms to just go out there and play. And I'll say throughout the whole thing, confidence was the biggest thing for me, and just continually believing in myself and my abilities and my preparation. That was always big. But when you look at the NFL right now, it's like, how many starters are there that aren't 1st round picks? Like, we can name a couple. We can name Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott, but how many other guys are there that weren't 1st round picks? There just aren't a ton. So Cooper Rush is a great example of a guy that came in, played well, maybe is going to be viewed as a bridge guy at some point, but still not well enough to lengthen that leash just because of where he was drafted.
Do you think it's harder now to be a late round guy and come in? The greatest player of all time was pick 208 or whatever. And Tony Romo was Carson's year. And Tony Romo did not get invited to the combine the year that Carson was the number 1 pick. Matt Hasselbeck, right? You go through these old timers, some of your compadres on television. But do you think it's harder now? You think because there's so much hype and there's so much like about draft stock and all that, like, do you think it's changed at all, or do you think it's the same? Do you think there's going to be some 7th rounder who goes this year who's going to play 17 years on 11 teams and make $75 million? Like, do you think it's getting harder to do that, or do you think nothing's really changed? It's still ball?
No, I think it's getting harder. I think part of it, when Peyton Manning was in Indy, they started doing the 2 quarterback thing. And so there were no longer 3. There are less guys developing. It's coming back a little bit with the unlimited practice squad years where you can have 3 guys, but definitely a dying breed, because you almost have to be in a Cooper Rush type situation where maybe it was the team that brought you in. You've been groomed for 2, 3, 4 years, and all of a sudden get some opportunity. You don't have a $40 million quarterback on the roster, and you take advantage of that opportunity. But it's darn near impossible now, to fall into that opportunity. We're seeing it now with Taylor Heineke. Not that Taylor is a world beater, but Taylor's also 3-1 and almost beat the Minnesota Vikings to go 4-0 as a starter this year. But at the end of this season, what are they going to do? They're going to do their best to replace him no matter how it finishes out. I think with GMs, they like to fall back on he's a first-round pick for a reason. He has this. We need to find a coach that can mold him. Carson Wentz is still getting chances, for crying out loud.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears here. This is what I want to get into. Let's talk through some pranks. You mentioned earlier, I'm a prankster. I loved it. I got that from my brother. That was the guy I always looked up to, who basically was just fucking around 24/7. We played with a bunch of guys. I want to know, what are some of the best, because I've got some that involve you. Long career, a lot of QB rooms, a lot of stuff happened, a long list of stories you probably can't tell here. What are some ones that come to mind for you, whether it was you were on the receiving end or you schemed that thing?
I had a little baptism by fire. My second year was really my first year where I truly got introduced to some of these NFL pranks. Gus Frerotte, who at that point was a wily 12 or 13-year vet, saw how studious I was, saw how I was really taking stuff serious. Back then, it wasn't iPads. We used to get the DVDs, and they send you home with all the game film with the DVDs. And of course, he put porn on the end of my DVD. So I'm at home with Liza. I've got it in the TV, like in the DVD player, and I'm watching, and she's cooking dinner or whatever. And I get about 7 minutes in, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God. So he also, Gus sent out a Christmas card to everybody in the building. It was a picture of me in my Harvard uniform. He put a trumpet in my hand and a bouquet of flowers in the other one. And he said, "Merry Christmas" from the Harvard band and Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I didn't know he did this. So I'm walking around the building and people are thanking me for my Christmas card. And I'm like, "You're welcome." "Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome."
Oh, he sent it from you?
He sent it from me to everybody without me knowing. So it's like that whole year for me, he also in preseason, I'm battling for a job, trying to be the third string quarterback against Dave Ragone, which is also a funny story because now he's in Atlanta and he was my quarterback coach in Tennessee. He would take my pants from a 36 to a 34 to a 32. He'd notch them down every game, just one size. And so I remember going out there for the third preseason game, and I am running out there. He'd always squirt my crotch with a water bottle too. I'm in size 32s with water all over my crotch, but it also let me relax a little bit.
This full helmet.
Just so bad.
Yeah. Hey,
just a thimble.
Speaking of uniform alterations, did you play with K-Man, with Kevin Walter?
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about the Juicy Couture prank that they did on him in Houston?
No, I don't think so. I was actually just with Kevin in Houston, but I didn't hear about it.
Dude, he's the man. I still stay in touch with Kevin and Caroline. So Kyle, K-Man was this white dude from Jersey. Chains, rims on his Tahoe, young dude, and he wore those velour suits. I don't know if you remember those, but like the suede velour suits. And he owned it, and he was the man, and there's no better dude than K-Man. And he went through an entire practice one day, and they had put Juicy Couture and they had printed it onto his football pants, and somehow he didn't know. And so he went through a whole practice. He had Juicy on his butt. And if you know him, it's kind of a two-person conversation. It was so perfect.
But he also, so you can ask the guys in Houston about him because he's still around, Kyle. But he also, it was him, white dude K. Walters. It was Peter Warwick, Chad Ochocinco, and TJ Hushmanzada, and Hugh Jackson. So he's got a couple photos in his house. They're all in like the 1990s NFL draft suits, like the real baggy, like his is pink. They all have shades on. Like that dude, he stuck out like a sore thumb, but he tried to fit in for sure.
No, he owned it. So one of my favorite pranks involved you. I don't know if you really remember this, but my brother and I actually, here's full circle here. My brother and I shot something for Corona last week, and we shot it at Kyle's house because Kyle has a house down the street from me in Orange County. And it's vacant, and they needed a place to shoot, and I didn't want to drive to LA. I was like, "Hey, I got a spot." And so we literally shot this commercial, and they asked us to tell these pranks. And So they threw it to Carson and they said, what was the favorite prank you ever pulled on your brother or something like that? So I start telling the story about, and both of these involve you, where you discovered this because I don't know if you started it and then it became, you like just brought me and other people into it. But if my brother was like sitting on his stool and you walk by and you just start humming a song like Backstreet Boys or something, like, and then 2 hours later, you walk by and you hum it again. And then 3 hours later, you walk by and hum it again. At some point, he was going to walk in the room going, tell me why. And you could put it in his head. So I tell that story, which was genius. You're like, it's subliminal Ivy League shit here, right?
Yeah, that's next level shit. That's too much.
But
and it worked like a T. He knew it was coming and we do it.
Yeah, he definitely did. Another Ivy League guy, though.
Right.
Cornell.
That's right. Yeah. Cornell, Hofstra, Slaughter. So I tell that story and my brother goes, that's not the story I'm talking about. And I was like, what is it? And so he tells this story, but do you remember writing the letter? I don't know if I wrote it or you wrote it. So basically the only year that Fitzy and I played together, Carson got hurt, had a UCL injury in his throwing arm, and he missed 7 or 8 games or something like that. And it was a big deal. And Fitzy's starting and playing well, played really well, even though we only won 1 game. Not his fault. We were bad. And so let's bring you into this, Kyle. Ken Zampese, the quarterback coach.
Oh,
you've played for Zampese. We've played for Zampese. And so, Kyle, you're going to love this shit.
Let Ryan tell it. I want to hear Ryan tell the story.
Yeah, you go.
Let me fix some of those errors. First of all, Carson missed 12 games that year. We finished 4-3-1, so we won 4 games that year. I was not phenomenal, but it was fun. But Carson stopped. I
remember the Sluggo team you hit to TJ.
Yeah, I had my eyes closed. I remember that too. So Carson stopped coming to meetings. So Jordan and I drafted a letter and put it in Carson's locker from Ken Zampese, just saying how disappointed Ken was and Carson for not showing up to meetings and really just laying on the guilt thick. And Carson, look, he was hurt. He had the ACL a couple years before, but he was real disappointed he got hurt that year, was down in the dumps about it. So this letter just put him over the top. So he reads it. He's so pissed. He goes straight up to Zampese's office.
And we wrote this in Zampese's handwriting. It was perfect.
And it just didn't end well. We didn't stop him. We just giggled like schoolgirls and let him go in. And I don't remember how it ended, Jordan.
Carson told this story the other day. So Carson sees the letter. Normally, when we wrote that, we thought he would come to us and vent and be pissed. He went right to Zampese's office. And he goes in and he slams the letter down and goes, what the hell is this? And Carson goes off. And there was a lot of bent up frustration. Fitzy and I are not in the QB room. We're in the team room. We're just watching shit. We're just watching film. And so Carson comes back downstairs to us, irate and yelling at both of us, but looking at me, right? And so he had gone up to Coach Zampese's office and gone off on Zampese. He's never gone off on any coach. Goes off, and Zampese looks at it and goes, hands in the letter. He goes, I didn't write this. So next time you come here, you better get your facts straight. And Carson just, all the air out of him comes down and takes the rest of it out on me. And it was like, I'm still at the point where I'm worried about getting cut. And it was just, I don't know, one of the better pranks I've been a part of for sure. So good.
Did Zampese ever talk to you guys about it after?
Oh yeah. It was
I blamed
awesome.
it on Jordan.
I think Zampese loved that. He got to, it was an easy scapegoat. That was a good one.
How come you didn't pull any of those pranks in Washington? You were just old and boring there. We could have had so many good pranks on Montez.
I got hurt, man. That was why. And I was trying to lose weight. You saw me.
Oh, yeah. He was trying to lose weight bad. He kept bringing in the New Mexico Anitas burritos every morning. That was tough. Oh, it's just so many good Montez jokes. I wish people knew more about Montez. But you've obviously played for a ton of teams. You played however many fucking million years in the league. So you've been in a lot of quarterback rooms, been with a lot of different coaches, been with a lot of different players. This is the QB room. We're bringing quarterbacks into our room. We're trying to bring everyone into the quarterback room. What do you think are the best attributes that make a great quarterback room? And I'm excited to hear what you think because I know it's going to have nothing to do with actual football.
I mean, it will a little bit, but it is more about knowing your role. Everybody in that room has to know their role. I think that's a really big one. I think everybody in that room has to be rooting for each other, pulling in the same direction. Because if you have friction and you have two guys that aren't on the same page, it just doesn't work and it makes life miserable. Playing quarterback is hard enough. That is your sanctuary. It's like your safe place during the season where like you need to be able to vent. You need to be able to laugh and cry and do all those things because there are very few people in the world that understand what you're going through with the highs and lows of a season. And those guys in the room are the guys that truly understand that. So I think those are very important characteristics. And then also the best player, the starter, he has to be the leader of the group. He has to be the one that's working the hardest. He's got to be the one that sets the tone and definitely sets the tone for the other guys. The one thing that I will always hate, and every time I see it, if it ever happened in my career, I went over and told the guy to stop because it drove me bananas. And I won't tell you who did it all the time, but if you're the starter, especially if you're not playing great, and the backup starts warming up unannounced because he's trying to keep loose during a game. Kyle, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you were the backup, you are not touching a football during the game. You can throw when I'm throwing back and forth to me, but you are not over there warming up on the sideline trying to get a few chants from the crowd to push you into the game. I don't want to see it. I hate that so much.
I can't wait till we're done recording and I can ask who did that.
Yeah. So last game we played, I'm notorious for not throwing a ball from an hour before the game. Like from when we go out to do our little whatever run throughs and pads and come back in, I'm notorious for not throwing a ball from then until the second half when we have to go like throw with the quarterback before he takes the first kickoff out. So last game we're in New York and it's cold and it's windy. And I've just been sitting on the heated bench all game. I'm near that little hot jet in the corner, just minding my own business the whole game. We go out to throw. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't touched the ball in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. This is going to be bad. First throw I throw, knuckleball hits the guy catching for Davis in the foot in front of the whole team. And I'm just like, oh, God, I really hope I don't have to go in today. This is bad. I was like, you warned me?
But that's, you good? Yeah, that's when you're like, can I get a new ball? There's something on this ball. Yeah, just blame it on something else.
Exactly.
Fitzy, a little more serious question. So I don't have it in front of me. How many teams do you play on?
9.
Okay, 9 and 15?
17.
17. Okay. Would you swap that for one franchise being the guy for 16, 17 years? Or looking back on it, your journey, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been asked that before, and I actually... One of the times I had to really think about it after I retired, Buffalo reached out and they said, would you like to sign a 1 day? Would you like to retire as a Bill? Which for me, I was there the longest. I was there for 4 years, but my journey was so unique. And even sitting here with you two guys right now, like the amount of people that, not just that I came in contact with, but like the deep friendships that I made throughout my 17 years on the 9 different teams and those different locker rooms, I definitely would not trade it for sitting at one place, being a franchise guy and doing that, because my career was uniquely mine and I enjoyed every single minute of it. I would have liked to have made the playoffs. Yeah, that would have been nice, especially the 2 years we went 10-6, but that's just part of my story. So 2 10-6s and never made the playoffs on 9 teams.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's unbelievable. That's crazy.
That's crazy. All right. Let's get into another little segment here. This is called Playing Favorites. You're the only guy that we have both played with. Never be another one. And so we're going to go through a little list here of some questions and you just shoot it right now. Which one you've played with both of us?
Let's do it a little different, Jordan. I think this will be more interesting. So we're going to give you some questions and I want to, since you have a great recall, like being around you again, like seeing you on the sidelines the other day and you bringing up old stuff, like your recall is really good. You've been around a lot of teammates. You remember probably most of your teammates, even though it's probably in the thousands. I'm going to ask you the questions. We were just going to do this. What do you think it's me or Jordan? But I want you to name the teammate that's most likely to do this thing. All right.
I like it.
Okay. So the answer is not specifically you or Jordan. The answer is anybody I've played with?
Any teammate.
Yeah.
Any
we were going to
teammate.
do that,
Yeah.
but I like this better. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle.
All right, you ready? First one is, who is most likely to know their own stats at halftime?
Brandon Marshall.
No, quarterbacks.
Oh,
That's a guy that you and
oh.
I both played with too.
Oh, quarterbacks only. I'm not going to answer that one.
Oh,
Yeah, you are.
Kyle Allen. I'll say Kyle Allen.
Yeah,
That'll
you
make
are.
this one easy. Kyle Allen.
I definitely know my stats at halftime a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough when they put them on the banner, though. You just see them on the banner. What are you supposed to do? Not look at them? All right. Next one. Who is most likely to put too much effort into their pregame outfit? This one's gonna be me too. That's tough. I did it last week.
No, that's not you. Gosh. I've played with a lot of guys that have. Gino used to get pretty dressed up back in the day. I always enjoyed a good Gino like t-shirt rip or something. But he put some thought into it.
All right. Who is most likely to kiss the ass of the coach with a comment or a question in meetings?
I would say Davis Mills, but I never played with him. I'm going to go with Rusty Smith. You guys don't even know who that is, but he was in Tennessee with me. I had to politely ask him to stop asking questions in meetings.
That's tough. Yeah. It's tough too, because there's a lot of guys out there like that, especially like fringe guys just trying to show coach that they know the answer to, or
there's a lot of guys like that. And look,
and showing they know.
But I'm happy to take the time to answer things for young guys, maybe especially after some of the meetings are over. But what you just said, when you're asking a question that you know the answer to, just to make sure that the coach knows that you know the answer to it, it doesn't fly.
Hey, coach, when it's cover one hole, isn't that guy supposed to be outside leverage right there? I think he is playing the wrong leverage right now.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Let me add one on the back of that. Who's most likely to, I would just call this under the bus Gus. So that's talking about, I'm going to ask a question that I know the answer to so that the coach knows that I know the answer. And I bet when I was with you, Fitzy, I bet I probably did that a couple times. Who's most likely to be like, hey, coach, is Fitzy's eyes right there? Or is he supposed to, are we supposed to go to the right versus too high? Like in front of the quarterback. I know you've been in the room, whether they did that to you or not. You're laughing because somebody's got to come to mind. The under the bus question.
Honestly, do you guys know the name Jake Heaps? Do you remember that name?
Yeah. Oh, he's a good friend of mine now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's training. You could tell the story anyways, but I could totally see. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say that Jake Heaps was that guy where I think we were together and it was like my 10th year or something. And I was running Chan Gailey's system, which it was my 4th year in it. And coach, why Fitz shouldn't signal that route to the receiver, should he? Because we should just run what you called, because that's what we said in the meeting, or something like that. And I'm like, Jake, know your place, buddy. Know your place.
You were the king of trying to signal routes last year too. Fucking Zampese and Scott were having an aneurysm of you changing routes during practice.
All right, most likely to just try and insert a joke at the wrong time. Like they thought about the joke. Okay, I'm going to say it here. It's going to be great. This is how I'm going to say it. But just in the team setting, trying to make that presence felt.
I'll say you guys made this really difficult by just having it be quarterbacks, because I could think of some other guys, but the just quarterback thing, I keep picking on these young guys because I don't want to throw anybody else under the bus, but that one might be you, Jordan, maybe.
Definitely Jordan. I would say Jordan.
Manufactured joke.
Some of his jokes hit, but they're definitely forced sometimes.
No.
It's more of a batting average than completion percentage, like 350, and I'm good. I'm in the Hall of Fame. Batting 350. All right.
Do you have a favorite year from your career? Just curious question. Out of all the years, I know you loved your time in Buffalo, but one single favorite year.
So it's funny because there's like just like you were talking about the cycle of good and bad play. The beginning of 2011, that season in Buffalo was amazing. The beginning of the season in 2018 in Tampa was like amazing. Overall season 2015 with the New York Jets, and that was the year Gino breaks his jaw. I broke my leg the year before, got traded for a sack of potatoes just to back up Gino. Breaks his jaw. I end up starting, play the whole year. That was the year we went 10-6. Unfortunately, blew up in miserable fashion at the end of the Bills game to not make the playoffs that year. But that year, veteran group of guys, we had so much fun. That is probably my favorite season looking back on it.
You have your stories of how you've came to play. I remember we were talking about this one time of like how you got starts, like Gino breaking his jaw over him not paying a teammate back for flights to a camp. Like that happened multiple different times in your career.
Yeah, but it's carried on because my son is the backup JV quarterback at his high school. And the only game I could attend was when Thursday Night Football was in Arizona. And sure enough, at halftime, the kid doesn't go back in the game because he gets hurt. So then fast forward a couple games, they bring up a freshman. The freshman plays, my son's backing up again, and the kid hurts his wrist, and my son gets to play the last game. So it was like it lives on through these generations where, and who knows what happened on the field, or it was a bowling injury, but somehow, some way, us Fitzpatricks will end up on the field.
Is that Brady?
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah. He's a
Is
sophomore
that Brady?
now.
Brady's in high school.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Brady's old tape you showed us last year too. Oh, that high school team. Not just Brady, I'm saying the high school team in general.
Yeah. Don't be picking on the Langley Saxons freshman high school team, man. They didn't get to throw to Mark Andrews in high school. Not everybody got to throw to Mark Andrews every play in high school.
The only reason I got recruited, literally.
Awesome. All right, last segment here. This is called QB to QB. Okay, so we had Kirk Cousins on the show last week, and he broke our streak of losing after you come on our show. So it's actually good to have that streak broken. But
so were you cheering for the Vikings or were you cheering for the Bills that game?
I'll tell you what, man, I'm a Cousins fan, and then talking to him, and I was that. No, I'm Bills all the way. But I was one of those things where I absolutely wanted the Bills to win. But yeah, I'm excited for Kirk, and I'm a huge KOC fan. I've known KOC since high school. So I am a Minnesota Vikings fan this year. I'm excited about what they're doing. But no, I wanted the Bills to win. Ford, my 6-year-old, his flag football team, we got the championship in 3 days. He's the Bill. His team's the Bills. He's number 17, and it's all on the line Friday night versus the Eagles. But so we're going to ask you a question too, ask you to ask a question too. But we asked Kirk without knowing that you were the next guest. What question do you want to ask our next guest? Kirk's question was, what was your approach to cover zero? How do you like to attack it? How do you study it going into a game? So just cover zero. Some of these are football. Yours doesn't have to be football.
So good that it's you.
I know. I love that it's you and that, yeah. So cover zero. What did you think?
Dude, I love a good cover zero. I've got a little bit different philosophy than a lot of other guys. A lot of guys want to bring guys in and max protect. I want to, every now and again, I'll bring 6 in to protect, but I want 5. I want to know where my free guy is. And I did this 2019 Miami against Steph Gilmore. New England loves playing cover zero. They sit there, they stare at you. I got a lot of practice with it in OTAs because Miami was running the same defense. So we ran the little 2-man side quick out and a go on the outside. I even used their old signal just so Steph Gilmore would know Gotti was always Tom back in the day, and Steph had seen it a million times being in Buffalo and wherever else. And I stared at that quick out, and I threw the go down the sideline, and Steph just stopped his feet and went for the interception on the quick out. And then the ball went over his head, and he turned, and Devontae caught it over his head. But I like that for sure, using my eyes, making them think I'm doing something to make a quick decision and throwing it over their head. And I also love bringing somebody in, protecting with 6, and sending an inside guy in a post, throwing it over that second level dropper or the first level dropper into that second level with a tough cross face. I hate the quick screens. It's wonderful, but if you're going against a team like Miami that does it all the time, they know what you're doing. But yes, I thank you, Kirk, for asking that question because it's one of my favorite defenses to go against. And we always had the answers because when I was in Miami, we saw it so much in practice.
That's all they
So going back to Zampese, you don't like getting in rock and lug, Mike in the will, and then having the green dogger be the last guy that's coming so you can take 3 and maybe possibly hit. Yeah.
The only other thing I like about cover zero that's a little unorthodox is I wore the single chin strap. I had the beard. So if anybody came near my helmet, that thing was going up like this and I could get 15 yards most every time. So that was always good too.
That's perfect. You were always a good flopper too.
Yeah, I love a good flop.
I think it's part of the game. What question do you want us to ask? Doesn't matter who the next guest is. What question do you want to pass on to our next guest? Might be Caleb Williams from SC. It might be somebody, from the league.
I want to ask the next person, there has to have been a time in your career, whether it be new or old, where you've lost confidence in yourself. How did you regain confidence, or how did you get back on track when facing adversity?
It's deep.
I like it.
You didn't even write that down.
I love talking about
that. You didn't even write that down.
Oh, hold on. It's getting written down in the script right now.
Okay,
just making sure. Green thing right there. How about it?
Who is the
our
next
boy
guest?
Jake's
Do we know?
on it, man.
Jake Heaps is the next guest?
We don't know. Jake Heaps is the next guest.
No,
he's working with Russell Wilson. We're going to ask him. Yeah.
You should have Russ on next. Have Russ on next.
Cool.
I would love to have Russ.
I want to have Russ on. I want to talk Russ. I want to see what's going on.
That's your favorite quarterback in the league, right?
Yeah, sure. No, I'd love to talk to him. I was against it. Now I even texted him today. I was like, I think I want to talk to him. Let's try and get Russ on here. It'd be great. All right, last thing here. 2-minute drill, man. Would love to hear your journey. You played on 9 teams, 17 years, 7 kids, right? You and Liza?
Yeah. Yep. 7 kids.
1 in each city he played in. 1 kid for each city.
2-minute drill. We're going to throw a little timer on here. There'll be a little ball going across the screen. Start it wherever you want to start it. It starts and ends in Gilbert, Arizona, it sounds like. Fun fact, Kyle, my dad is from Gilbert, Arizona. And when he lived there, there was like 900 people in Gilbert, Arizona.
And guess what? He doesn't live there anymore because Orange County's a lot better.
Yeah, but he was in a graduating class of like 8. Something crazy. My dad's in his 70s. Anyways, 2-minute drill, man. Would love to hear your journey. Start wherever you want. Ends today. And we're going to hit mute.
Okay, 2005, drafted 7th round, 250th pick, 5 from the last, went to St. Louis, played there for 2 years, met my wife, got engaged, got married, had a kid, got traded to Cincinnati, played there for 2 years, had another kid. Then I signed with Buffalo. First time I ever thought to myself, boy, I have made it. 3 years, 8.5. I was set for life. Little did I know, a couple years later, it would change again. 4 years in Buffalo, 2 kids later, 1 born there, 1 born in Arizona during the lockout. I was cut for the first time in my career. On to Tennessee, played there for 1 year, was cut for clipboard Jesus after my first year there. Went to Bill O'Brien's Houston Texans in his inaugural year, had a kid there. Not a kid in Nashville, kid in Houston. Played there for a year. Broke my leg after about 13 starts. Got traded for a sack of potatoes to New York. Went in with a broken leg. They didn't even take a physical because they didn't care if I could play or not. They just wanted me to sit the bench. Had another kid while I was in New York. Was there for 2 years. Had a little contract squabble after 1. Sat out for a little bit. Came in training camp. Geno Smith, not happy. Got benched that year multiple times. Kept coming back because guys kept getting hurt. Didn't want to play anymore. Hated football after that season. I went to, how's the timer going? I went to Tampa Bay because it was close to Disney World, so my kids could enjoy Disney World. Played there for 2 years, put on some change. Kirk Cousins doing the same thing now, which is great. I love to see it. Then I ended up going to Miami after that for 2, then Washington for 1, which was a very forgettable year. Yes, I also had a kid in Tampa, if I didn't say that. Is that 7? I think that's 7. Ding, ding. That's it.
Did you really go to Tampa because you wanted to be close to Disneyland?
I swear to you, I hated football so bad after that 2016 season. It was miserable. I told Liza I was done playing. Dirk Cutter, who was at ASU, ironically, when I was a senior in high school, didn't recruit me to ASU, called me up and said, hey, will you come back up Jameis? And yeah, there you go. And I said, And then I looked it up, hour and 7 minutes, door to door, Disney World. So that's the only reason I decided to keep playing. Refound my love for football when I played in Tampa after Jameis hurt his shoulder in Arizona. We were down by 35 and came storming back and didn't win the game. But that was the moment where I was like, man, I do doing this. I do playing football. And then I got to tag on another 5 years to the career.
That's amazing, man. Well, dude, fired up. And now you're on the next phase, killing it on TV. You liking it? You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been awesome. And part of it is now part of a different team. Like I didn't even think about, for whatever reason, that team aspect. Like I love Sherm, hated him as a player, but now love him, getting to know him. Rekindled the flame with Andrew Whitworth, being teammates in Cincinnati. Tony Gonzalez, one of those dudes, always coming in hot with dad jokes, and you just shake your head at most of the stuff that he says. But he's been really fun to get to know. and then and Carissa Thompson, but then just the team in general of Amazon has been so much fun. Just like a locker room with equipment guys and training staffs and all that. There are so many behind the scenes people that you get to know intimately going on the road every week, and it's been really fun.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on, dude. This was a blast. I'm glad we did it, man. I thought this would be my favorite one, and it is. And enjoy the rest of the year, man. You guys got probably another couple months here all the way through. So appreciate it, man. That was a blast.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm glad we could finally get it done. Miss you, Kyle.
Thanks for coming out of timeout for us. Appreciate it.
All right. See you, man.
All right. That was Fitzy. I think it's funny how we've got him at different points in his careers, but you could just tell, like, the dude's one of the most personable dudes ever. Some of the greatest stories ever. One of the funniest dudes. I think, like, you go back to any interview, I think I was just laughing sitting there more than anything else in that interview. Even hearing your guys' old stories, like early in his career when the NFL, it was like more prominent to play pranks and do that shit. Like, that stuff doesn't really happen anymore. Like, I wish that stuff happened when I was in there. He's just like all-time football character. I'm so glad that he's doing Thursday night football still, so people can actually see that side of him.
The football world needs him. He can't just retire and go do commercial real estate and go work for a pharmaceutical medical sales guy. He can't go do that. He's got to stay in football. Like, football needs him. And I heard Will Ferrell talk about this one time. Do you ever get tired of being a comedian? And he made this comment, and he was like a serious answer. And he was something along the lines of, he was like, yeah, there's a time when I'm just talking and everybody's waiting for me to say something funny.
Yeah.
And so this feeling of I need to say, and so a long time ago, I thought I just said, all right, I'm just going to talk. And I became funnier. And I think, like, anytime I'm around Fitzy, I'm like the fan listening to Will Ferrell. I'm talking to him and he's a peer and he's a friend, but I'm waiting for him to say something awesome. And he wouldn't call himself a comedian. I don't know if he's ever tried to say anything funny in his life, but shit, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is gold.
He's awesome, man. Hell of a career, hell of a dude. Stories on end. I think we could have done that for another 30 minutes, hour, couple hours. He would have had stories for days. Hopefully he's a reoccurring guest.
We need to get him on a golf trip. We need to do, like, our group, and we need to go away for like 3 days or something like that this offseason for sure.
It'd be great. If you're still here in the episode, make sure you subscribe. The guests we've had have been awesome so far. We have Josh Allen, Taylor Heineke, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mark Sanchez, Trevor Lawrence, a bunch of top college guys. We got some more top college guys, a lot of more NFL guys coming on. Like, we're getting you content that you can't get anywhere else with some of the biggest names in football at the quarterback position, the biggest position in sports. I'm impressed where we've got this show, honestly, Jordan. I didn't know if we were going to get these many guys, to be honest with you. In the conversations we've had and guys opening up, like, this is what we've wanted to build the whole time. This is the quarterback room. And I think this episode with Ryan is the epitome of the quarterback room. Like, stories, pranks, talk about cover zero. Like, it's the epitome of the quarterback room. So make sure you subscribe if you're here.
Yeah, and we're going to keep it coming. We got playoffs coming up. We got football. It's just fewer. We get later in the season. It's just fewer games, bigger moments, like more eyeballs, less games to watch. And yeah, we've got some awesome guys slated here through the rest of the season. So as Kyle said, share it too. Tell everybody about it. We appreciate it. We always like to end our show with a moment of gratitude. Kyle, I'll start it off with you, man. What are you grateful for right now?
I think our gratefuls are going to be the same today, Jordan, because I am grateful to be another uncle again. To your little boy River, man. I am pumped, bro. 3 boys. Ford's getting on my nerves a little bit nowadays. Reese has always been funny as shit. I still love Ford, don't worry. And now we got River coming in. I can't wait to meet little River. Everybody's healthy on your end. I'm super pumped. Just when me and Summer, my fiance, we were texting you for 48 hours after you said that you were going to the hospital. Like, we couldn't wait to hear what was happening. So to hear you have a boy and everyone's healthy, man, I'm just super grateful for you and your family, because we're family at this point, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm grateful, man. The miracle of life, it's such an easy thing to say, right? Oh, miracle of life, cool. And we were all born. If you're watching this, you were born. And until you have a kid, you don't realize actually everything that goes into it and how amazing our bodies are, the way that God designed our bodies. It's like the woman's body is just, it blows my mind. I always think about this where I understand there's a lot of religions. There's a lot of different things you can believe in. There's a lot of, you can believe in the universe and all these things. I respect it, but I don't see how you could watch a baby be born, like that whole process, and not believe in something. You know what I mean? I believe in God, but like, I cannot believe in something. There's no way this is just random. There's too many little tiny things that happen. It's just such a miracle. And he looks like me and he talks like my wife and he's, you know what I mean? It's just, and they're you. And I knew it was coming as my third kid. I appreciate you saying that, dude. It means a lot. But yeah, I'm just super grateful for this, the miracle of life and what God's given my family. I got 3 incredible little boys and got some hard times ahead of us, some adversity, and we got some success too. And I'm going to get off this and probably not sleep a whole lot tonight or tomorrow night or the next night, but just a lot of joy. I've always said this, when you have kids, parents understand this, that like I have 3 kids now. It's more stress. It's more anxiety. It's more money. It's more frustration. It's more joy. It's more love. It's more peace. It's just more everything. It's more life.
Both ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Totally. It's just more. And so I'm excited for more. I'm grateful for it. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Next week, we'll bring on another guest and we will dive into some interesting, fun stuff and continue to bring you into the quarterback room like we try and do every single week. Appreciate you watching.